All right, chat. You know the deal. I normally do this about a week or so after the season, mid-season hits. I'm a little bit late. Why am I a little bit late? I'm going to be point blank honest with you. I haven't been playing that much. It's actually so bad that I haven't even gotten my 50 wins for top 500. I'm well within range. I'm in like top 50 or top 200. It's like top 150-ish numbers wise. But like I just don't have the wins. And quite frankly, I don't really care too much. However, though, I still have a pretty good idea of what is strong right now from playing off-roll and watching other streams, and just it's kind of almost exactly I called it anyways. So you know what? Screw it. Let's go. There is one outlier, which to be fair, I did say could potentially be strong. Is Ball. Ball is sneaky, really good. And the only reason I'm not going to put Ball in S is because one, Ball is kind of hard to play. Two, people don't know how to play with Ball, especially if you're in your middle ranks. They have no clue because they don't have that frontline presence tank. And three, there's just one tank that's better because they're easier to play, they're simpler to play, and they become the server admin unless they get swapped by 4 people. That being said, though, Ball has been very sneaky good. I think I saw a random tweet the other day that like Chasm said that Ball is the best tank in the game. Granted, probably some biases there, granted. But at the same time, though, when people who play a character say it's the best character in the game, they're typically kind of right. The only players who never admit it are Roadhog players and Orisa players. And like they will just either say nothing or like, no, it's not that good. Because they know that their characters are extremely busted but don't want to tell you. Why? Because the people who play those characters are unethical. Doom players don't know when Doom is strong or not half the time. But is Doom strong? Absolutely. Doom benefits a lot from the knockback and the headshot reduction. Doom didn't have armor, so the armor changes had absolutely zero effect on Doom. So Doom just got a straight buff. Yeah, Ball is nowhere near A and at least a B. You clearly just didn't listen to the words I said about a minute ago and just walked to the chat, saw something on the screen and said, I'm going to say you're wrong. Okay, dude. Sure, man. Don't give a f. Anyways, Doom is also super good. The thing about Doom, though, is he falls victim to the Ball complex of where if you just counter swap him on all fronts, then they kind of shits himself. And he's also kind of difficult to play. So there's a bit of a saving grace there. I was actually going to tweet last night because, okay, really quick. Small sidetrack. SK made this tweet. Said, my frustrations with Overwatch right now. I think tank was already super strong, and the only thing that made it feel weak or unplayable was multiple people on the other team counter swapping. And then I'll just let you pause to read if you want. I've already read through the whole thing. Basically, it says like tank wasn't not strong, it's just not fun. So I responded with, I just want tank to be fun again. And so then SK said, agreed. There must be some gigabrain solution as a community we can come to think of other than 6655 distraction because of Overwoke. So then I fired back with a quote of it. It said, romantic candlelit dinner if you can find the answer without telling me about screaming 5v5 versus 6v6. This follow-up tweet is not an invitation to go argue with someone in the replies. Nobody listened to that. They just decided to go to war. Anyways, though, it's funny because a lot of the tanks probably feel super strong. They all feel like shit to play. And I was going to quote that originally with a meme tweet that I was going to say you just have to send Hog, Orisa, Malga to the farm, and then also send Ball and Doomfist and probably Diva too, because all those characters when they're strong also create problems, just in a very different way. And then I was like, wait, we're just going to start over and have ethical Overwatch with Ryan, Winton, Zarya can stay as the pub stomper tank, Queen, and Ramatra and Sigma. And that's it. That's all we get. But I decided not to because I thought people wouldn't think I was legitimately very serious about that. But they do. There is kind of a theme there. But point is, though, Doom's really strong. Ball's really strong. They are not the number ones. But people don't like playing against these characters a lot of times. So I can't wait until people probably start complaining about it. Next up, also that is also very strong, it's Diva. Diva has a ton of armor. Literal metric.
Formuncle.
Yo, thank you for the 47 months. I appreciate it. A metric ton of armor. And Diva was really never good at face taking damage anyways. But like what was really annoying against Diva is like if you play like Tracer or Sombra or whatever and they're just getting pelleted down. But with the armor change, Diva takes less damage from those characters. and she can kind of DM the big damage, like rocket shots or Sojourn Rail, right? Those types of things, or Cassidy right click. But she doesn't have to worry as much about Tracer and stuff like that. So D.Va's a lot better. And also D.Va's pretty good at dealing with Ball and dealing with Doom. So like in this world, D.Va's pretty good as well. But the problem is though, all these tanks and all these things still fall into the same categories of just because they're strong doesn't mean they're very fun. Doom might be a different category, Ball might be a different category. Point is though, tank still sucks. It's strong in game. Don't get me wrong. It just ain't very fun. Next up, Hog. Yep. If you didn't see this coming, you clearly have never watched one of these before. I told you. I said it was coming. Nobody ever listens to old Flatsy. They just laugh at him and say he's crazy. I told you. The only thing that was keeping Orisa, or keeping Hog in check, was Orisa, and then Orisa got nuked, and then also there was the new 25% passive for headshots. Armor got reworked, which absolutely doesn't affect Hog at all in any way, shape, or form, so he just gets 25% less headshot damage, plus he already has the take a heal 50%, plus he has his one shot basically back, plus the self heal, plus you could just stand there and do absolutely all and still do a lot. And it's like, you have to basically full swap. You have to go Ana, you have to go either D.Va or I mean, like, there's other shit too. Like, I guess Malga is probably the big one for tank versus Hog. But it's like, this is so annoying. And the game always sucks when Hog, Orisa, and Malga are meta. And I really wish they learn that, you know? And like, I've talked to them about it, and I just sit there and I go like, guys, what the is wrong with you? Sigma is very good on him versus depending on the map. Okay, that's true, but like, if you walk into like Circuit Royale and start trying to play Hog, you're just a demon. And it's like, if they're a Hog one-trick demon, they're probably still gonna win. You can't be just like the idiot Hog player who's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna lock Hog here on some of those and do well, you know what I mean? But I mean, Sigma like is the perma always strong tank anyways, so that's a totally different story. But yeah, Hog, everyone's shitting and crying. I know this isn't technically like the best piece of information or the best piece of like evidence per se, but where is it? I saw it this morning. Hog apparently, according to Overbuff, granted Overbuff doesn't take into consideration private profiles, so take it with an absolute grain of salt, but apparently has a almost 60% win rate in GM. This is Roadhog in GM. So yeah, have fun with that. Anyways, cool. Junker Queen. I love Queen. She's just not that good right now. The only reason she's not that good is because Cass is really good, and Hog is really good, and Sojourn's really good, and well, Ball, it depends because it's like map dependent. But yeah, but there just isn't a reason to play Queen over like some of these. But I love playing Queen. So honestly, sometimes you could force Queen to make it work, because honestly, tank nowadays is like 90% of the time standing there and just not doing anything until you like have your moment to push all your buttons, and then you just run over the enemy team, and that's when it's great. Malga, yep, easy A, easy A. I wouldn't throw them all the way to S, because there is ways of dealing with Malga. Sigma's pretty good at dealing with Malga. Even Rhine comps kinda as crazy as it sounds. Like, you just gotta be really smart with how you use your shield, and if you're actually fully committing to it, because you can overwhelm the Malga if you can like stop his life steal for that like 4 seconds. But yeah, Malga's still super good, and with Hog being played everywhere, play Hog or play Malga most of the time. Orisa's pretty shit. I would not play Orisa. But like, am I crazy for saying she's maybe not as bad as people think she is? Like, there's more of the perception that she's terrible than she's actually being terrible. Like, everyone's like, yeah, they just nerfed all of her cooldowns. They made her way worse, so she's terrible. And like, She's not unplayable. She's sneaky. She's like sneaky good in like certain situations. You just can't mindlessly press all your buttons. You know? It's like, wait a minute. Hang on. Are they still decent? Because like, there's definitely a, what's the word? A compensation buff coming, right? There's definitely a compensation buff coming for Orisa soon. And that makes me kind of like, uh-oh. That's probably really bad if she's still not that terrible, you know? Like if you kicked Hog down a couple pegs, and you kicked Ball down a couple pegs, and you kicked Mauga down a couple pegs, I think Orisa's right back in the game. Not OP, but in the game. I don't know. That's my like gut feeling right now. Ramatra. Ramatra's actually extremely good. I'm actually tempted to put him up with Hog and S. I don't know if I want to, because I want to drive home how annoying that stupid piggy is. But he's up there. And organized play, you actually do see a decent bit of Ramatra. But the problem is, though, Mauga exists, and Mauga just feasts on Ramatra. So sometimes it just won't pick him, you know, because it's like, oh shit, they'll go Mauga and just run us over. So then there's like this whole rock, paper, scissors where you throw in Sigma, and Sigma ends up being really good on certain maps, like your Circuit Royales, your Midtowns, you know. But Ramatra's really, really good. Keep your eye on Ramatra. Rein. This is a hard one. I'd say a really high B or a low A, because Rein's good, but he's actually worse than he was on the previous patch, in my opinion. In my opinion, the previous patch was better for Rein with old armor. And the reason for that is because when you played Rein, you were used to taking big shots of damage, like your Junkrat shots, your Sojourn shots, your Pharah rockets, your Cassidy right clicks. All of those things, as long as they're not headshots, you actually take significantly more damage. Significantly more damage now. So the only difference it would be is if you're fighting like a Widowmaker and you get headshot, it's like the same amount of damage. Like that, those types of things are really pretty much the same because of the headshot passive. But body shots and like burst high damage is actually better. So with Hog being pretty good, your ultimate basically just deletes. If you ever played Rein versus Hog, you know you're just dead because you now have the passive. So you have like the steadfast passive, so you don't go as far. If a Hog pops whole Hog on you at point blank, you're dead. You literally just, you're dead. And so Hog is really good. And because Hog is really good, yeah, you can win those like neutral, like baiting out the hook and whatever. But like that Hog's outlasting you, dude. He's outlasting you. He's just gonna keep shooting you in the head the entire time while you swing on him. I don't really like the matchup too much. I think it favors the Hog a little too much at the moment. Ramatra being good, just play Ramatra over Rein. If you're playing hard rush, play Ramatra over Rein 90% of the time. So yeah, even though Rein's actually probably pretty good and probably dominating the medal ranks, I think like once you get up there a certain amount, it's like, you gotta be a little cracked out in the head to play him. Sigma easy A. Sigma easy A. Sigma benefited a lot from the changes. Again, has no armor. Now just has a 25% headshot reduction and also increased passive. So Sigma, who was already good last patch, was already good before that, has been good all of Overwatch 2, is just now stronger. So, you know, so many good tanks. Yeah, but don't let this tier list fool you, because even if you look at this list and you're like, wow, the tanks are really good, nobody wants to play these things because it's shit. Like, it doesn't matter if they're strong. Like, they're going the wrong way. And it's like, just because you're playing a Giga buffed hero doesn't mean it's good or it's fun. And like, nobody wanted Giga buffed heroes. Like, that's why I've always said when they mimic like the buff Rein, I'm like, no, stop buffing shit, nerf shit. And even going to the higher health pools was an admission kind of from Overwatch that they don't want to nerf things because people get mad at things getting nerfed, even though the correct answer for all the time was to nerf the healing and to nerf the damage. Because if you don't remember, healing never got nerfed. The reason why healing feels like it got nerfed is because the DPS passive. So if you play tank, if you're shooting somebody or trying to kill somebody and you don't have the DPS passive on them and they're getting healed, it's just like season 8. Like, you ain't killing that. They're not dying. So it's kind of shit where you're just kind of this massive meatball that is either the server admin or just useless, and you're constantly blamed by your teammates. You're constantly flamed. They tell you to counter swap, you get counter swapped. Your team needs to counter swap their tank, but your team decides not to counter swap their tank. So even though in the past you could just counter swap their tank as tank v tank and do it enough, now a lot of times that's not enough anymore. Now you need everyone to swap, and not everyone wants to swap, but they'll just sit there and blame the tank instead. So basically, the meta went from tank counter swaps tank to now team counter swaps tank. And if a team all counter swaps a tank and the other teams doesn't counter swap your tank, it's just over. Like, it's the game's, it's cooked. So it's Overwatch though. Counter swapping is part of the game. I'm sorry to break it to you. I hate that sentence so much because I agree with you. Being able to swap heroes in Overwatch is Overwatch, but I could train a monkey to look at a screen and go, okay, all right, here's what we're gonna do. You see this guy, right? If you see this guy, you tell the monkey to press this button, and if they press this button, then I give them a banana. And then every time this thing appears on the screen, they go up and they press this button and they get a banana. I could legitimately train a monkey on how to do that. That is not skill. Sitting there and just knowing every time they pick another hero, I go back to spawn and swap to another hero is not smart, and it's not as good of a game mechanic as you think it is. Yes, having some type of advantage in situations like Gibraltar playing heroes that have mobility to fight for high ground. Yes, that is skill. That is what it means. But that is not just, I turn brain off, I look at enemy team do this, I swap this, and I win. That doesn't make you good. That's stupid. Like, that's like playing a dumbed down version of like checkers. Man, it's just ass. I hate when people argue that, really. Okay. Yeah, point and click adventure. Pretty much. Winton's also really good, but I don't know if I want to say he's as good as like Ball or Mauga or Diva. I think people have figured out Winston's not as good. Now in organized play, that's different, but in ranked, I feel like you just get more value on all these guys, and so I kind of don't want to put him here. I kind of don't, but I also don't think Orisa and Winston are the same category either. This is a hard one. I might have to bump Orisa down one, but I don't want to bump Orisa down one. I think I gotta do this. I think I have to do this. Let's just rearrange a little bit. All right, that's a little bit better. Zarya. I mean, Zarya's not that good, but she's not that bad either. Definitely on the lower end. Definitely on the lower end. I don't know if I want to. The thing is, I don't think she's bad, but she's just not great, like, compared to other things, you know? Like, Hog is way better, Ramatra's way better. But, like, how do I... That's the thing, though. Like, I want to drive home the point that Zarya is much worse than some of these others. But, like, once I start adding new tiers of heroes in, then I can't do that. So I guess you're just gonna have to take it from me here that, like, she's not bad though. That's the problem. Zarya and C low key. I don't even think Zarya is bad though. I think she's actually pretty good. The problem is though, everybody else is just so much better that there's not really a point. But there isn't a way for me to really... Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know how... I want to put... Okay, I'm just gonna make a note here. I want to put Zarya in B, but I can't basically show that to you in this ranking because Zarya and Ryan are not in the same tier. But she's also not bad either. And like a lot of times when people look at these lists, they'll say, "Oh, someone's C tier. That means they're shit." Or like, "Oh, like you think this hero's good and you put them in C tier? That's stupid." It's like, dude, I gotta put them somewhere, and I gotta put them somewhere. And it's like the only way I can put them places, but also still communicate that like they're still good. I think she's better than decent. I think it depends. I think there's just like all the people who play Zarya are just playing Hog right now. They play Hog and they play Diva. So, or Sigma. So all the good Zarya players, there's no reason to play Zarya because they just play better shit. You know? Okay, Ashe. I think she's alright. I don't think she's top tier, but I think she's alright. Weirdly enough, this patch like was like kind of a big buff to a lot of the flex DPS, like the projectile DPS. I mean, she's not bad though. She's not bad. It just, you have Sojourn and you have Cass. So it's like, if you have those two that are just way better, it's like, why even play Ashe, you know? Bastion, you know, he kind of has a place. But he's also not that good. I'm gonna put Bastion in C. The reason why I put Bastion in C is because even though he has kind of a place, his cooldown is so long that he's only able to do anything in a fight for about 4 or 5 seconds. And then he's not able to contribute again for like 12 seconds. You know what I mean? So the consistency is so ass that it's like, just don't, because then you can just play this guy. Don't care. S tier. One of the best heroes in the game at the moment. Don't care. Don't care what anyone says. One of the best heroes in the game. Interchangeable with Sojourn. Cass benefited a lot getting the extra HP because he was already a little chunky, you know, the 225 Cass, but then everyone got extra health, so now he's 275, and it's like 275 plus with the armor changes, chat. The armor changes was also a big buff to cast damage because you can just become right click Randy and you just delete tanks. Now granted though, it depends, because if like you're fighting a diva, right? But a diva that has full defense matrix, you're like a helpless infant fighting a, you know, ICBM missile. You just sit there and go, and she just goes, eat. Yum. But then if you catch the diva with no defense matrix and like you're behind her, you go, she explodes and like, and just, that's it. So it's like, it's such a in between, you know, where it's like you sometimes feel like you're doing absolutely all, but then sometimes you just delete people. It's so widely like swings back and forth, and also I don't even know why they ever added that damage reduction on roll. It was just like they were just like, okay, we're just gonna try new shit. Here you go. So yeah, and also Hinder kind of blows, but Hinder's funny, because like the only time it's ever useful is 1 by accident, or 2 just randomly hucking it at somebody, or 3 you just happen to get a tank in your face and you can just get a stick on them and then they can't catch you for a sec. That's it. Like other than that, it's useless. So it's, I don't know. It's weird. Cast real good though. You know who's also real good? Echo. Echo's also insanely good. I'm actually considering maybe even throwing Echo into the S tier. Echo's insanely good. You know what? Dude, all in. Let's do it. Don't care. Echo is actually... Why did they Echo get another buff? What the f***? Why? Why did Echo get another buff? Echo was great. Echo was so good. So good. And then got another buff. And even in like OWCS slash like some of the collegiate stuff this past week, which granted collegiate now is like tier 2 level players and a lot of even former Overwatch League. Tons of Echo. She struggles in bronze, please understand. Yeah, but you're asking me to like make that, you're also asking me to then make concessions on this tier list based on the ability that you literally can't aim in an FPS game, and that's just unrealistic as fuck. Like that just means that I you know what, want me to make a tier list for you right now? Like, you know, I put Ryan in S tier, I put Moira in S tier, I put Mercy in S tier, I put Sim in S tier, and I put Torb in S tier, and there you go. Now there you go, you got your tier list. Oh, sorry, maybe Junkrat and Pharah can go on S tier as well. Okay, Genji. Genji low-key not terrible. Low-key not terrible. But his ult just kind of blows. His ult's really not that good. It has to be very niche, I guess. And it's like more of a ranked pub, you know, strat type of thing. But yeah, so not much to really say there. Solid B. Hanzo. Damn, am I really gonna do this right now? I think Hanzo's fine. I know there's a whole thing going on with people screaming that Hanzo's terrible. He's not bad. He just feels like shit. Welcome to the club, bro. I as a tank player who can tell you when something's good but feels like shit, welcome to the club. That's it. You're just your character isn't what it used to be. You're basically now like a mercy bot character. Yeah, I'm gonna be real, that hero is F tier. If you play it like old Hanzo, yeah, 100%. If you just play it like Sniper Hanzo. But if you turn your brain off Hanzo and you just literally play Tank Buster the entire game and do nothing else, you actually do a ton. Because you can't miss 90% of the time, you know? But I do agree, he doesn't feel great. He feels like shit. So I might bump him down to C, just because like that is only one thing that is useful about him. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm going down to C, but only for one reason and one reason only, and it was because that Hanzo ult buff was hilarious. Because one, it kind of is a buff where like you can just delete somebody if they're like right beyond a wall. Like, okay, there's a perfect distance. Listen, there's a perfect distance where if you catch them behind a wall with the ult from where you shot it, you can basically delete them. But they have to A, be kind of not paying attention, or B, they have to not have movement abilities. So if you catch like Cass, if you catch Ilari without her, if you catch like a Widow, if you catch a soldier, sometimes even like or Junkrat, there's a lot of characters you can kind of catch with it and actually delete them. But the problem is though, it doesn't tick any faster. So you also lost your ability to like zone out a hallway, and because of that, I think that was hilarious. Like, it is technically a buff, but it also was such a nerf to like another usage that you like don't probably have stats on, that it's just like you can't help but feel bad for them, you know? I do think though that Hanzo's not as terrible as some people say. I think that he's actually not awful, and the armor changes benefited him significantly, because if you play the playstyle of trying to just absolutely decimate tanks, it's no longer 30% anymore. It's 5 damage. So you do significantly more damage to armor now. So, without headshots, excuse me. Junkrat. Dude, Junkrat low-key. Junkrat low-key kind of making a comeback. Junk low-key kind of making a comeback after that last patch. Dude, the connoisseurs are out. Do you guys not see the Junkrat connoisseurs all over the place? I'm doing it. I think the Junkrat connoisseurs are making a return. They're absolutely everywhere. Dude, it's not bad. It's not bad. Try it. Sit down and play some Junkrat. I don't know, some quick play or whatever it is. Oh, I think Cactus is putting together like a whole compilation of that kind of stuff. I don't know. He normally does. But yeah. I think Junk slept on. I think you guys, you have the giant projectile. You got to hit 2 of them. I know. I'm just saying. May is still low-key okay. In certain rush and like Ramatra comps or Rhine comps. But the problem though is her whole kit is now around her wall. So if you're just trying to play May to go for kills and trying to like pop off by yourself, no. But her walls are still top tier. So just like where Genji's in B, where it's like you kind of just like a pub stomper who's like useful in very small situations, can kind of work in a lot of other ones, but you got to be really good at Genji. I'm putting Mei in the same category where you're not really able to go pub stomp, you're not really able to go pop off on your own, but if you play together as a team and you're walling off their tank or walling off certain people, still one of the best abilities that's not a tank ability in this game. So just saying. Okay, Pharah, you know what, I'm gonna make some people mad with this one probably. I think Pharah is low-key slept on like crazy. I think Pharah is insanely good now. The armor changes was one of the biggest buffs to Pharah. She does so much more damage to tanks. The only tank that can really deal with her is D.Va. She does a of damage. You don't even need a Mercy anymore. Pharah is so good. And you would think, well, Echo's S tier and Cass is S tier. Surely Pharah is not at 8, like a really, really good. Oh, Pharah is insane. Pharah is really good. That's it. I'm not gonna say much else there. There isn't a point. Next up, oh, this poor guy. Poor Reaper. Okay, all right, listen to me. If you play Hanzo, you're really gonna sit there and look me in the eyes and tell me your character's worse than Reaper? Come on now. Come on now. Like when I think of bad hero in the game right now, this is the guy I go to. This poor bastard. These are the poor bastards who are truly oppressed Overwatch players at the moment, okay? You guys are not that bad. You guys at least have a play style or two, okay? Suck it the up. Over here, these guys, no. These poor guys are cooked. Armor change actually was a big nerf to Reaper, because Reaper has pellets, so it's actually damage reduction on each pellet, up to 5. So you do significantly less damage versus tanks, and being a tank buster character that's only good up close with a giga buff tanked meta to the point where the tanks can probably out survive him in a lot of cases. Yeah, poor Reaper, dude. Poor Reaper. Reaper has a decent win rate, yeah, but like, how often are people playing Reaper to play Reaper, or are they playing Reaper in those very, 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 very niche situations where he's like actually pretty good in, but those niche situations are so far away from each other that it's like you're not going to pick him otherwise, because if you just try to pick him normally, you just get f***ed. So, you know, or they play Reaper because it's their personality. I mean, there's not that many Reaper one tricks anymore. There's really not that many. All right, Sojourn, come on, dude. Was there any type of hesitation really needed? Any type of hesitation needed? Come on now, let's just Sojourn and S tier. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. So I don't think Soldier's that bad, but he loses out a lot with Ball being strong. And it's like there's not really a whole lot of reason to pick him. I kind of no. I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's good, though. I don't think he's good. Doesn't really bring a whole lot to the table at the moment. Soldier doesn't have a reason to be played at the moment. Ball is really good. If you play against a really good Ball Tracer, this guy legitimately doesn't even get to play the game. Like, I'm not talking about, like, you know... Okay. Let me put it this way. If you play Ball and they play Sombra, you're in for a bad time, right? You're in for a really bad time. Ball into Soldier, Ball Tracer into Soldier is like playing Sombra into Ball. It's the same shit. That's how strong it is. Because one, the knockback on Ball's pile drive got buffed this season, so you could stun the Soldier for longer if you get a good engage. Get him stuck in the air, so you're gonna get a good amount of chunk damage on him. And then what do? Run? You're gonna run away? Where are you gonna run to? Nowhere. You're dead. And Soldier, the whole thing about Soldier is like kind of playing a little bit of an off angle. You don't really play with your team as much. If you hard stack with your team, you play Cass, you play Sojourn. You know, if you have a pocket, play Sojourn. There's just no reason to play this guy. He doesn't really, I don't think he has a spot for a reason to play at the moment. You can play Junkrat on really, really tight maps. You can play Mei if you're playing rush/tight maps, like good rush maps. You can play Genji if you're just one, a mechanical warlord of Genji, and two, in like niche situations where you're playing dive or on high ground types maps. In Ashe, I think there's still like a small niche in things like Route 66, where it's like not quite long range, but it's like not quite close, you know? There's still like some small instances where I think she's okay. Soldier, I just don't see. I mean, you can disagree. You can place your Soldier. Hey, you can go win all your games on Soldier. Hey, do whatever you want to do. I'm just saying, in like a game in, game out situation, I don't see a reason to play him. Sombra. Yo, am I crazy for thinking Sombra's like not that good right now? But like she still has great utility. It's just like if you're gonna play like ball comps, you just play Tracer and like Cass, or Tracer and Sojourn, or you play Echo Tracer, or you play Tracer Sojourn, or you play Cass Sojourn, or you play Echo Sojourn, right? Like they're just not a really spot for her at the moment, but that's not exactly a bad thing. It's just the armor change. Like she just was affected by the armor change, just like Tracer was, you know? She's not bad. She's not bad, but she's not great. I don't think she needs buffs. I think she needs no buffs. I don't think she needs any nerfs. Just leave her where she is. Her Sombra's annoying to deal with, but not the worst at the moment. Okay, Symmetra. Symmetra's weird because sometimes Symmetra dominates, and other times she's useless as she's just a teleport bot. But it's so rare and it's so niche that I can't say she's insanely good. You can't say a character's A tier based on their niche. That's just not, that's not cool. That's not how that works. Because there is small niches. I mean, her greatest utility is to teleport you out of spawn. You know, all of these apply to Mei and Junk. Nah, this one is more map / connoisseur. This one's more playstyle. This is completely small niches. So like, you can play Symmetra on Lijiang Tower, where she's notoriously always been good, but you need to have a really good Symmetra player to make that work. You can have somebody play Mei on a rush map and absolutely not know what they're doing, and you're not going to win. Symmetra, though, you need both the niche and really good. But if you're playing Mei on, say, what's a good Mei map at the moment, chat? What would you say? Like Antarctic Peninsula, that inside one, where you literally can't miss a wall. Mei is really good. Mei can be really, really strong. King's Row? Oh yeah, actually Mei's pretty good on King's Row. Not terrible, not great though. More of like, more second and first than anything. More second. More than anything, I guess. But I don't know. I don't think Symmetra's the worst. I don't think she's the best. The one really annoying thing about Symmetra is if they walk into your team with a level 3 beam, if you're playing tank, you're just falling over. You're having a bad time. Torb. I don't think Torb's bad. I think Torb's actually really good. Slept on. I'm leaning B. Why B? Better. Still has good damage. Still has good survivability. Good ult. Just not really a reason to play him at the moment. I remember Seagull told me forever ago, one of the biggest things he didn't like about the Torb changes when they increased the health was like your ability to duel people kind of went away, where you could just like one-shot a Tracer with a headshot. Like you couldn't like do that anymore. And it's like those small things kind of made them a lot harder, that you just had to hit more things in a row. And a lot of power in Overwatch is about consistency and how much damage you can do and how many shots you can hit in consistent time. That's why it's like, you know, Junkrat does a ton of damage, but his shots are kind of hard to hit at like range, right? You can't really hit them very far away. You have to be up close. So like that makes Junkrat players play much more aggressively, right? If you had Junk's damage with, I don't know, Sojourn's range, like, you know what I mean? Like you just have a season 2 Sojourn, but I guess, you know what I mean? Okay. Tracer. I don't think Tracer's ever bad. I do think Tracer's slightly worse because the armor changes. So she in general just doesn't harass the tanks as nearly as much, but she's still very good. Still very, 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 very good. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, but Tracer's still really good. I just don't think she's as good as like Cass or Sojourn. Echo maybe, but I think that bro. What do you mean? Tracer's dominance was that she could kill literally anyone in the game at any time. Now she can't kill half the tank roster for a long time. She's a must even with Cass and Sojourn meta. I wouldn't say that. So then where's Echo slot in? Tracer Cass, Tracer Sojourn, Tracer Echo. But yet you could say the exact same thing of Cass Sojourn, Echo Cass, Echo Sojourn. Absolutely, you could say the same thing. Tracer's damage to tanks is the big reason why I knock her down, because she's not as harassing to many of the tank roster. That's the big thing for me. Venture, okay, this one's too tough. Venture's a tough one, because Venture just got changes like literally yesterday or the day before. They looked good though. They looked good. They looked like they were really good changes. So I think I want to be safe and throw them over here as like a solid character. But I also don't know if I feel good about that. I kind of want to make another tier down here that says too early. Widow. I don't think Widow's bad. I think Widow's pretty good. But it's like on certain maps and certain instances, because like consistency is still a big problem. Right, you have to be able to consistently hit your shots and actually be able to pop off. So it's map dependent, it's player dependent, it's skill dependent. So I think we just put her right in the middle. Right in the middle. Has insanely high potential, has insanely low potential, like just shitting the bed in like 6 and 14 or some shit. But like game in, game out, not something you always want to pick. But on those certain maps, can absolutely do really well, and basically become server admin. So can't really complain about that. Ana, I think people low-key are kind of sleeping on Ana a little bit, but I understand why she slept on. The only reason I think that she's pretty decent is because like she's really good against 1, 2, 3 of the strongest tanks at the moment. The only reason why you don't feel like Ana's stronger is because like Nade got a nerf a while back, and then Kiri also still exists. So, but Ana's pretty good. I think Ana's low key pretty good. Speaking of pretty good, BAP. Which one do I want to put BAP in though? I think BAP's a solid A or S. Yeah, let's do that. There's only one other thing that would make me want to not play BAP, and that's Kiri. Kiri's the other one, which, alright, let's just jump ahead. Let's just get that right out of the way. You know? Kiri's just been the #1 pick for supports for how long now? Kiri's just a good example of a giga-loaded kit that at this point, if you hard nerfed one of them, like let's say if you're going to hard nerf Kiri tomorrow, you would take away her swift step through walls. You would take away her swift step through walls. If you took away her swift step through walls, that would literally like kill what is the character's lore identity, which is a big part of Overwatch. Like that's like whether you like it or not, that is a big part of Overwatch. The hero's fantasy, what the character is supposed to do. We literally have a short, like and a whole cinematic about her teleporting through walls. You're kind of taking away a big part of that, you know. Like that'd be like taking away Genji's Dragon Blade or Hanzo's dragons. Like let's say if you reworked dragons to some other completely different ultimate, you kind of kill a lot of what the hero is. So quite frankly, I don't think they ever would. Do you think the lore is important even now? I think that doesn't matter what I think. I'm telling you fact. Don't ask for my opinion. I am telling you the world we live in. That is what Overwatch is, and that is what they do with their game. The hero's fantasy is one of the most important aspects of the game. And it always will be. Doesn't matter what you think of it. That's just how it is. So, what's next? Suzu. Well, what could they do to Suzu? Maybe make it so you can interact with them. So it's like not a full immunity. It's just an immortality, but you could still get like booped and stuff, right? I could see some potential there. Small Suzu cooldown after TP. Nah, I would feel like shit. Imagine being a Kiri player and it's like you go in to jump in and save your teammate, and then it's like you can't save them because like you can't hit your button. You know, that just kind of seems like shit. I do not know why they buffed the healing on it. the cleansing of an ability. Yeah, but like even if it sounds good, like you can't like just make the game miserable for those players, you know? Like I tell you, as a tank player, way too many people jump on the ideas that like we'll just make a character no one would want to play it at all. And it's like if you kill a character to the point where nobody wants to play it ever, people just won't play. People won't want to play your game. They make it miserable for us. I don't agree with that. I think there are characters that make the whole entire game miserable, but I think those are mostly in the tank category. Okay, we'll do that to Roadhog anyways. Yes, but the reason why, okay, so the reason why I think it's different for Hog or tanks is because we had a format change. I don't think the supports got affected the same way as like Hog, and because like Hog's a 6v6 open queue type hero that eventually got put into role queue with another tank. Now he doesn't make sense. He doesn't provide any team value, you know? Yeah. Well, man, army noob too. Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. I agree with that, actually. I'm with you there. But yeah, I think that you're literally at a point where your hands are tied with Kiri. That's the problem. That's all I think, is like their hands are tied. There's not many other things that could be done unless you just fully killed like the character's identity. And considering Kiri is the poster child of Overwatch 2 and probably makes them the most money out of any hero when their skins go out. Yes, even probably more than Mercy. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, dude, there's not a chance that would ever happen. Like zero. Brig. I think Brig's low-key pretty good. I think low-key Brig is very good. Very, 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 very good. Hog nerfs confirmed on Reddit. Well, that's probably for the new season, so that's like, what, 2-3 weeks away? 3 weeks away. New Brig change is really good. Wait, what's the new Brig change? I don't remember. Oh, the bash reset. Oh, the bash reset. Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely made her more fluid. I still think that we shouldn't have added shield stun back. I still think that was a terrible change. And it's not targeting just Brig. I just think that they shouldn't have added back any more CC. Like, I feel the same way about Hinder. Like, I think that's why we've always memed Hinder for the longest time, me and Emo, because like, you know, I just, more CC being added to the game was just a terrible idea. So it's like, hey, Brig feels better, don't get me wrong, it was actually a good change. I don't like the change personally, but it's a good change. I think sometimes people have a hard time just having the difference. It's like, I could hate something and think it's bad for the game, but meanwhile it was good for the character. Like that both those things can be true at the same time. Yari. I think Yari's low-key pretty decent. I think she's actually low-key pretty good. I'm actually considering maybe even bumping her to A tier. If you get her on certain maps and certain comps and you just play like the hardcore poke, basically off-angle DPS style with one of your DPS and just sit there, dude, you can go crazy. The problem is, though, she's not really good against ball. Hog can be, depending on where. Sigma, pretty decent. Malga, not really. I'm not really quite ready to put her in A. But she is really good. She's actually really, really good. Let's skip you for now. Lucio, S tier for sure. S tier for sure. The only time Lucio is not S tier is if the enemy team has a Roadhog and they're running at your team and your team is doing absolutely all, and you need to swap. Someone needs to go Ana. Then you might want to consider going like Bap Ana, Kiri Ana versus the Hog player or whatever. Like, you know, it depends on like what you got. Like if you got a Malga, you might want to go Ana Kiri instead of a Lucio, because like they're gonna probably go Kiri and then they're probably gonna go Ana for your Malga, and then it becomes the Suzu Wars of 2024. But Lucio is still S tier. Like Lucio is still arguably top support of the game. Depending on like comps, what's being run. Granted, I don't think it's quite Kiri level of S. Like if there's like an S and S plus, I think Kiri's like slightly higher, because like sometimes you do need to swap the Lucio, just depending on like what's happening at the moment. But still insanely good. Let's skip you for now. Moira's pretty good. Moira's pretty damn good. I I honestly think I should probably put her in the A tier. The only reason I'm considering not putting her in the A tier is because the 20% healing reduction didn't really help Moira. It actually helps more of like characters that have a little bit more utility. So I don't think she's bad though. Anyway, let's leave her in a nice B for now, and let's round it off. One last B. Zenyatta. Zenyatta is, I don't know, still annoying to play against. Really annoying tank buster, but meta just not really, I guess, there. Like, you can still play Zen, but they go ball and run at you. Tracer. Hell, even like just some of these other characters like your Dooms, etc., just getting in on that Zen and up can do a lot. So yeah, Zen's not bad. I just don't think it's favoring him at the moment. All right, let's get to the two actual shitters, shall we? Lifeweaver. Hear me out. Hear me out on this. Lifeweaver's not bad on paper. In practice, the only way Lifeweaver is any good is if they understand they have no other objective than to sit there and pocket their tank and have a good aggressive tank. That's it. If the Lifeweaver just understands that they are playing the tank pocket hero as opposed to Mercy as the DPS pocket hero, you just sit there and you just wait for him the entire time. You don't ever swap over to your Thorns. You never try to pull him out randomly. You just sit there and you pocket him the entire time and do nothing else. Just sit there, and that's it. You have to understand what your job is. But most players get antsy. They go off on the side and they look and they swap, go, and then their tank gets half HP and they go whoop, and they grip him out of the fight. And it's like, well, you gripped him out of the fight, but their Malgo is about to press E and then use their lifesteal to actually get all their health back. So you just their cooldown, and now they're in a bad position. So they have to like give up space because most support players have no clue how tank works. They all love to look at them and to scream at them and tell them what to do, but none of them understand how it works in the POV in the game. And so they always panic and they pull you out early, or they don't even pull you out at all and it's way too late. And it's like the time where you do need a pull, they used it on a teammate because they were low and they're like on the flank or something. And it's like, if you're playing with like, okay, the Lifeweaver's gonna grip me out. If they then don't grip you out, you're just dead. Peace, gone, goodbye. Lucio, at least, you understand that the aura is with you, the speed is there, so you can gauge how far you can go, right? But on a grip, you're completely at their whim because you have to all in and wait for their pullback. So most players, even the good ones, don't understand how to do it. And then what ends up happening is you actually end up trolling your teammates more often than not. And then they get pissed. And then they get mad at you, the Lifeweaver player, for trolling them. And so then they stop trying or they start trolling the game. So like, nah, you. It's actually the easiest way. It's probably the biggest troll pick because you can get people tilted and not even try. You didn't even mean to tilt somebody and you tilted them, and that's it. There isn't a hero in the game that you can pick and consistently game in and game out, make your teammates so mad that they want to just AFK and not play the game than Lifeweaver. Even old troll picks like Torb or Symmetra way back in the day, if you pick them out of spawn, people would still try with you for at least a bit, but then they would probably get fed up after a while. Lifeweaver is one of the only ones that like first fight, they go, nah, you pulled me out. You. That's it. It's insane. It's actually insane. So the problem is you can't buff Lifeweaver anymore because he's already kind of a numbers character, and if you buff him any higher, what are you gonna do? One, you can't kill him, or two, he's just gonna, whoever he's spamming at, you'll never be able to kill him, right? So you can't do anything. He's cooked, and that's where he has to stay as a cooked character, and that's unfortunate. And last, but certainly not least, is poor Mercy, who is obviously an S tier hero, baby. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding. Before I let's be real. Oh, come on, let's be honest, dude. We've hit a point where there's literally no place for mercy anymore. You know, like the Toy Story meme of like, I don't want to play with you anymore. That's Mercy. Poor Mercy. She's not even the poster child of the game anymore. She doesn't even have the loudest and most annoying community anymore, quote unquote. Doom players took that. She doesn't even get that many skins anymore compared to Kiri. Kiri gets way more. You go to conventions, people aren't dressed up as Mercy. They're all dressed up as Kiri. She's not the most, she's probably one of the worst supports. Damage boost? Why do you need damage boost? I'm playing Sojourn. The only difference is now, instead of having to hit 4 projectile shots before I hit my railgun, I only need to hit 2 projectile shots until I hit my railgun. That's not worth a whole ass character. Oh, but then I'll pocket the Cassidy. Well, the Cassidy's playing frontline. You can't get near that frontline. You're otherwise dead. Well, then I'll pocket the Ashe. Well, the difference between an Ashe boosted headshot and a regular headshot isn't really that crazy. Yeah, and I mean, before the Mythic, the past 3 skins from Mercy were complained about by Mercy players. They don't deserve new skins. Well, what if they were right? What if those skins weren't good? What if, because Mercy always historically got the best skins in the game, but what if they all of a sudden, what if they were right? What if it wasn't good? What if it wasn't up to their standard because they were so used to having such crazy good treatment in the past? Oh man, that's tough. And they can't even fly around like F-22 Raptors anymore. They're like, I don't know, F-4s or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It is kind of sad. Mercy no good though. Mercy's not that good. You're basically, okay, all right, you want to learn how to play Mercy? If you still play Mercy, if you're still like, I'm going to play Mercy, I don't care. This is how you do it. Repeat after me. Don't even bother healing your DPS if they're fighting another one. Just damage boost them only. Don't even try to heal them. It's no point. If they're in a DPS 1v1 and you're pocketing them, just damage boost. If they lose, that's on them. If you try to heal them through it, you are 1, turning off the damage boost, and 2, you will not heal through the damage because of the passive. You only do like 40 healing or some shit if they have the DPS passive on. It's like 44 or 45 or 46 or something stupid. You literally can't heal them. So just only damage boost. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say it right the now. I think you could make Mercy's res instant again, and it wouldn't be that broken. Res is borderline useless unless it's at the start of a fight and somebody gets a pick and they stand around a wall and do nothing. It is useless 99% of the time, and you get 2 maybe reses a game depending on where they are. Depending, like let's say on like if you're like attacking on escort, you have maybe 2 chances to res somebody because they res going for a position, or they were died somewhere more in the open. There's not a place to res them. You could literally give her back instant res, and I bet it wouldn't be broken.